Alright, so today we're going to be talking about some weird things about memory. Memory is probably my favorite part of psychology. I think it's fascinating. If you think about it, a couple units ago we learned about neurons, right? And neurons are just these cells in your brain and they make everything happen. And so your memory of your 5th birthday party or your memory of Christmas when you were 10, all that stuff, memory of faces, memory of facts, it's all just neurons and electrical impulses, and that's pretty wacky, I think. So, usually I would spend a couple days on memory. Obviously, now we are on a shortened time span, so I thought I'd just give you kind of the greatest hits of weird things about memory. So here we go. Fact number 1, your memory is not like a tape recorder. Believe it or not, you cannot close your eyes like, what was her name? Cam something. She'll go click and remember everything. Anyways, you can't close your eyes and just remember everything about a scene. You don't take in everything around you. If I had you close your eyes right now, I could ask you a question about things in your room, and hypothetically you wouldn't know absolutely everything. So you forget things. That's obvious. We've all been taking a quiz and we're like, oh, it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember. You create things, fabrications or fake things in your memory. This is the classic getting in an argument with mom. I put it right there. I put the keys right on the counter. And she says, no, you didn't. Whose memory is correct? I don't know. Your memory is also tainted by your emotion, by your attention, by your focus. So things that have higher emotions, really happy moments, really sad moments, are actually kind of burned into your memory. On the opposite side of things, if you're not paying attention, you are not going to remember things. This is why if you watch a movie when you're on your phone, not paying attention to the movie, you miss a lot and you don't remember certain points. So, all in all, your memory is not a tape recorder. It is more like a sieve. A lot of stuff falls through. So you actually have many types of memory, and I'm just going to go through the basics. First of all, you've got 3 kind of areas that memory is involved in. So you've got let me get my pointer. You've got your sensory memory. That's like the senses of everything around you. Sight, taste, smell, touch, all that stuff, hearing. You're not going to remember it for that long. That sensory memory actually only lasts about 20 milliseconds. Once something enters your sensory memory, your brain automatically has to make a judgment of whether or not it wants to A, notice it, and B, remember it. So then it goes into short-term memory. Short-term memory is kind of like the waiting area. But your short-term memory is only 8 to 20 seconds. Short-term memory is also involved with working memory. Working memory is like using different memories in order to complete a task. So for example, in math, if you are completing an equation that's like 4x plus 3 and you have to equals 12 and you have to figure out what x is, you need to remember how to solve an equation, right? So using that memory of how to solve an equation to actually solve one is your working memory. After all of this, your brain makes a judgment of what it needs to remember, and that goes into your long-term memory. Long-term memory isn't permanent. You can put things in your long-term memory, like technically things that you learned from this class, hypothetically, would go into your long-term memory for now, but if you don't use it, then it gets discarded. So you might not remember these 3 types of memory in a year, for example. You also have 2 types of memory in terms of how you use the memory. So on the one side, there's implicit memory. On the other side, there's declarative memory or explicit. So the implicit, we'll start over here. Implicit is things you don't need to think about. So these are things like muscle memory or procedural, or I guess I put implicit twice. So things like playing the piano, walking, right? People with Alzheimer's don't forget how to walk, usually. They might forget facts and knowledge and memories of events, but they don't forget how to do things. And most of that is stored in your cerebellum. Declarative memory, on the other hand, is what you lose with something like Alzheimer's. So this is conscious memory, facts, and events. So like remembering the first day of school, or remembering what the capital of Maine is, right? Those are all explicit declarative memories. This is mostly what you need for a test. This is more what you need to complete everyday life. So, if you click on this, it is going to take you to an e-learning, different types of memory, and this is going to be on Google Classroom. I want you to sort, okay, what is declarative, explicit memory, and what is implicit. Okay, back to this. Your memory is also pretty terrible. We've already talked about that. Your working memory, like we talked about, stores and processes information as we think about it. But that capacity is much smaller than sensory memory. You can only really hold the magic number of items, 7 plus or minus 2. This is why zip codes are only 5 digits. Phone numbers are 7 digits, maybe 10 if you include the area code, right? And you can hold that for about 2 to 18 seconds, which is the exact amount of time you need to make that phone call or write that address. And it's best encoded auditorially. So what you're going to be doing, I'm going to send you a list of words, 20 words at a time. And you're going to pick 5 people. They can be in your family, they can be friends that you talk to over Zoom, and you are going to read out the list of words about 1 every 2 seconds. They're going to try to memorize that list of words, and this is a graph of that task. They're going to do pretty terribly at it. They should remember between 5 and 9 items, and you will see that they are more likely to remember what was first. That's because they rehearse that a lot, they repeat it in their minds, and what was last, because that's still in their short-term memory, and they probably won't remember the words in the middle. So we're going to have each of you, do those tasks, and then we'll look at the data. All right. The next thing that I want to talk about is why your memory is not reliable. Your memory is full of gaps. Like I said, you can create false memories, and our brains, like I kept saying in class, are really lazy. It's really uncomfortable to know that memory is full of gaps. So your brain has to make up what would have been in that gap, and the result is false memories. So in this video right here that you can watch, it talks about convincing people that they were in a hot air balloon. Basically, they show people pictures of themselves in a hot air balloon, obviously photoshopped, and because people are uncomfortable saying they don't remember, they will actually create the memory. And this is one that always gets me. This is a picture of me on my first day of kindergarten. Here's my little brother, Matthew, my neighbors. I don't think I actually remember my first day of kindergarten. I can't remember anything other than this picture, which leads me to believe that I only remember this picture and not the actual day itself. So that's a good test. Like, do you actually remember it, or do you just remember the photo? All right, so to test your memory, you are going to have to exit the video and go into the slides. You are going to watch a crime happen. This is the bomber on the roof. You watch it once, as if you saw it. Then you are going to watch a photo line up and try to think of who is the culprit. Try to limit yourself to only watch that photo lineup once. And then you're going to click here and cast your vote, and we'll see if we got the right person. Finally, you're going to learn a little bit about eyewitness testimony. Eyewitness testimony is using witnesses in court cases in order to put people away. And it's in 2 parts, but it is a 60-minute episode, about 20 minutes long, about a woman who was raped and actually chose the wrong person based on her eyewitness testimony. So it has some pretty good points about memory in it, and one of my favorite researchers, Elizabeth Loftus. You're going to watch that and then just write a brief reflection. So I hope that this video got you excited about memory. If you have any questions, please let me know. and stay curious. Okay.